First off, a more recent story. Miss Amira discovered that she was Chris Brown's wife. Well, not really, but that wasn't going to stop her, This passionate Chris Brown fan broke into his house, redecorated, threw out his daughter's and dog's things, cooked herself several meals, and still had time to tuck herself up in bed before Chris got home and posted photos of his stalker's fine work on Instagram. And she managed all of this whilst naked. She's got a future, that one. Honestly, decorating whilst naked, it's tricky. You get paint on your bits. John Dubis is a fine demonstration that nowhere is really off limits to the dedicated stalker. Obsessed with Jennifer Lopez, he squatted in her guest house for 6 days in 2013, coming and going as he pleased, while the security guards were presumably just really getting into Guitar Hero. He also enjoyed himself, so to speak, in the garden because, to quote Mr. Dubis, J-Lo wanted him to spread his seed throughout the world. I guess the garden's a good place, and then just get on with the rest of the planet. Having mental delusions is shockingly quite a common problem amongst stalkers, and more so with Jason Payton, a man who drove across America to find Jennifer Aniston, the Friends star who he believed he was in a relationship with. He was also said to carry the names of their future children with him, which could be called good preparation if this man weren't actually living in a fantasy world. It's quite sad, really, isn't it? David Letterman is obviously renowned for his sense of humour, and in this case, he probably needed it. Margaret Ray stalked him for a decade, and she even stole his car, but instead of pressing charges, Letterman made jokes about it on his famous talk show. "Things I have to do before I leave NBC," he said. "Send change of address forms to a woman who breaks into my house." That is quite funny. The story still, however, ended tragically. After turning instead to stalking retired astronaut Story Musgrave, she committed suicide, and Letterman said of her death, "A sad ending to a confused life." Where some actors just get strange letters and love notes, some get a little more. Gwyneth Paltrow, co-star in several Iron Man movies, was sent 5 letters daily by her stalker Dante Sui, including pictures. Interesting pictures of cucumbers. He revealed himself in full, if you know what I mean, and if you don't, it's fine. And you're a lovely, beautiful, naive sunflower, and I hope that you live the rest of your life like that. She didn't take these revealing pictures very well, and this chap was sent to a psychiatric facility despite the fact that he also sent pizza, which usually does make everything alright. But it's okay, he's now out and unfortunately stalking different people, so it's sort of worked out for everyone, even though it hasn't, and it's incredibly sad. Some people get all the luck. Ellen Page, however, isn't one of them. Sure, she is apparently some kind of never-aging mutant, but she also receives mysterious threats. One of the difficult things about being famous. Plenty threatening to kill her, and definitely more death threat tweets than a person really needs. Luckily, the trusty police force managed to track the tweeter down, a certain Mr. Myers, and slap a restraining order on him. Exactly how this keeps him from sending his lovely kisses of death across the internet is unknown, but at least our beloved, unaging actress is safe for the time being. Catherine Zeta-Jones got more exotic threats, however. The internet's a horrible place, isn't it? Her stalker warned Dawnette Knight sent her letters, threatening, among other things, to cut her up and feed her to dogs, which, as we all know, is not only rude, but just unrealistic. Dawnette Knight was in love or obsessed with Zeta-Jones' husband, Michael Douglas, as you would be, and so wanted Zeta-Jones out of the picture. The final, oddly shaped puzzle piece is this. Before all of this, Dawnette Knight wanted to be a child psychologist. Probably wouldn't have got that job, to be honest. Robert O'Ryan didn't pick a particularly big celebrity for his stalker obsessions, in this case Olympic gymnast and Olympic medal winner Shawn Johnson. He tried to break into the Dancing with the Stars set when she was performing, and was found to have a loaded handgun and a shotgun in his car, and a letter that said, "No matter what happens, I will always love you. No matter what people say, being told that you are loved is not ample conversation for being shot with a shotgun." So yeah, honestly guys, don't ever think that that's the case. Justin Bieber is not the most popular pop star in the West, and certainly has his doubters sometimes. Dana Martin, though, prison bound for the murder of a 15-year-old, was perhaps taking things a little bit too far. He wanted Bieber dead, and even managed to hire a fellow inmate and his nephew to try and do it. And that's not all he wanted. Martin also wanted parts of Bieber to be brought back for him to keep. The whole vegetable box, if you know what we mean. No, God, it's probably better you didn't. And it's probably for the best that this chap is in jail. And here we are. The most dedicated and frightening stalker is probably John Hinckley Jr., obsessed with Jodie Foster and sending her numerous letters despite her rejections, until he realised the only way he could get into her good books was to try and kill the President of the United States, which is certainly, people say sometimes a big gesture can help, but I think this is going in the wrong direction. And you know what though? He nearly did. John Regan was admitted to hospital with a punctured lung. One of his 3 injured bodyguards died of his injuries in 2014. If there's a more terrifying reminder of the devastating power of obsession, it is this. Not even a president can stand in the way of obsessional love. And if you find yourself that in love with somebody, it's probably a good idea to get some help.